Hi, guys. This is Sarah and Carolee, my guest today, and we are going to be talking about Carolee's bariatric surgery experience. Carolee and I met several years ago when we were neighbors, and she has since moved to another state. But I have to say that Carolee was my personal inspiration for wanting to get the surgery because one day I was out walking my dog and I was just having a fat day and feeling really down about myself. And she told me that she had the surgery. And I was just shocked because she's such a beautiful woman, and I never ever would have pictured her as being, formerly overweight. And so she was such an inspiration that day. And even still, with that information, it took me probably 4 or 5 years later before I decided to go ahead and jump in and do it myself. But Carolee, thank you for inspiring me, even though it took me a while to get there. And I would love to hear about your story, like starting back, earlier in your life before the surgery, and then what led you to finally getting it.
Thanks, Sarah. Thanks for having me. Um, my weight loss journey started when I was 8 years old. I have fought my weight all my entire life, have been at goal weight several times, but I'm a stress eater and I
Mhm.
had a very stressful life. And so I went up and down and up and down. And the one of the overriding factors was meeting my birth family, 16, 17 years ago.
Hmm.
And at that time, I weighed 300 and something pounds. And I went to where they lived in the South and I met them. And my brother was 300 pounds plus. My sister was 300 pounds plus.
Wow.
But the big thing was my brother's three daughters were in the 600 to 700 pound range.
Whoa.
And
So it's
I looked
genetic.
at this and I said, this is my DNA I'm looking at right now.
Hmm.
And I saw how they struggled. And the oldest then was 35 years old. And she's now just turned 50. And I saw the discomfort and the agony that they
Yeah.
went through being that heavy. And I thought, I came back from that trip and I made it my mission to find a program that would accept me.
Hmm.
And the odd thing is that my insurance would not pay for it back then because I had nothing else wrong with me. I was just morbidly obese. And they said, she's just fat. Tell her to do something about it. Well, I've been fighting all my life with it.
Yeah.
And so their advice to me was wait till Medicare gets you and you're 65 and they'll pay for the whole thing. And that actually is exactly what happened.
Oh, wow.
I fought it for all those years. And finally, at age 65, I moved from Oregon to Post Falls, Idaho, because that was where I found the best program. And
Wow.
I lived there for 2 years while I went through this whole program. And, best decision of my life. And I
Wow.
had what I call the Mac Daddy of the operations. I had the Roux-en-Y, which they totally replumb you. My
Hmm.
food doesn't go into my stomach. They made a little pouch. And I lost 161 pounds.
Wow. That's
And
incredible.
I have kept all but 10 of it off. And for me, that is some miracle
Wow.
because I can, in years past, I could gain 15 pounds in 2 weeks. And so I've gone 13 and a half years and I am just 10 pounds up from what I was. And that may be medication induced and I can probably still do something about it. But it was
Mhm.
seeing my birth family that really triggered me to doing something. And it's very odd. You lose friends with this
Mhm.
operation, and I don't want to minimize that possibility. And family, maybe.
Yeah.
Um, my birth family was very against my getting this operation, and I think it was because they wanted me to be like them, which I was. I was over 300 pounds.
Yeah.
And I just said, no, I am not going ahead in my future looking like this. I'm
Good
not.
for you.
And my youngest niece called me up 2 days before my surgery, and she said, "Better you than me. I like my food too much." And so she's now in the 500-pound range.
Oh my
And
goodness.
yeah, and
Wow.
I cringe because this is a choice that they made. They
Yeah.
live in the South and everything's fried.
Yeah.
And, it's a cultural thing, I guess.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to be a part of their future as far as the weight goes. And
Yeah.
if you don't get the mental part right, then you're going to fail. And Al Roker on NBC, I think it is,
Yeah.
he's a classic example of that by his own admission. He went into the operation not having done his mental preparation. He went
Mhm.
into it thinking, oh, this is a magic bullet, and I can lose all this weight and go right back to doing all the goofy stuff, eating wise and drinking wise, that I did before. You can't.
Mhm.
And if you don't understand that ahead of time, don't do the surgery. You're wasting your time. You're going to be depressed worse than ever when you fail. And
Yeah.
so he went back a second time and had a revision of some kind, but he got his mental status right about it. And so
Yeah.
he's kept the weight off. And that's why I made the decision to move from Oregon to Idaho for 2 full years,
It's a big
because
decision.
this doctor in Post Falls had the best program, because he isn't interested in making money off of you. He wants
Mhm.
your success. And
Wow.
he was brutal. He was really brutal, but he had a really good before and after program, and I wanted to be there long term to go through the weekly support sessions and
Mhm.
stuff, and totally worth it.
That's awesome. Now,
Yeah.
when you said he was brutal, what do you mean by that? And then I think you had mentioned in a previous conversation with me that you got a talking to by him. Can you elaborate on that?
Yes, I did get a talking to. He properly scared me to death. He wants you to go through a really tough, rigorous 6 weeks period before your surgery. I had to
Mhm.
go to this weight trainer guy for 1 week, for 6 weeks prior, every week for 6 weeks.
Yeah.
But your session was only 15 minutes long. And I said to him, I said, oh, what can this guy possibly do to me in 15 minutes that's going to make me sweat? He goes, oh, you just wait. Well, I want you to know, I drug out of every session crawling down the stairs. It
Yeah.
was brutal. The guy
He killed
really
to
did
kill
it
you.
to me. But
Yeah.
I think what Dr. Pennings wanted was to see your level of resolve. Do you
Mm.
show up for your sessions? Do you put forth the effort? And he wanted me to lose 26 pounds in that 6 weeks period.
Yeah.
I think to detoxify my liver, maybe get rid of some belly fat, and
Hmm.
to see my resolve level.
Yeah.
And I, in my control freakish way, decided that I could revise his diet plan for me to suit me.
Uh-oh.
And so I would go back there and I would have lost 2 pounds when I should have lost 10. And he'd say, what are you doing? And I said, well, this and this and this. And he'd go, no, I gave you a diet plan. I expect you to stick with it. So 3 weeks in a row, I go back there and I've lost like 2 pounds. He finally threw his clipboard across the room and he yelled at me
Really?
and told me what a control freak I was. And
Hmm.
do not come into my world being a control freak. You can do that in your own world. You spent $1,750 to learn how to lose weight. I'm the expert. I'm the doctor. You're not. Do it my way or get lost. And he
Wow.
was very specific. And he
Wow.
went out of the room. And my surgery was scheduled for the next day. And I just got hysterical because I thought he canceled it. Well,
Mhm.
he didn't cancel it, but he postponed it. And
Okay.
finally, his office staff called me and said, "You're scheduled for surgery tomorrow."
Hmm.
And I was shocked. I thought he canceled it. And I was
Okay.
devastated that I screwed up my last opportunity to get this right. So I go in for the surgery, and well, the rest has just been a dream. Um, I had no recovery time at all. In the hospital overnight. The next day I went home. I'm walking my friend's dogs around the block, big dogs. I had no downtime.
Wow.
And it's laparoscopic, so they do it, laparoscopic, no big open incision.
Yeah.
And I can't tell you, it was just a dream. And
Wow.
yes, you have to make changes to your eating habits, obviously, because the ones I was doing made me fat. So
Yeah.
you have to do things differently.
Yeah.
And I'm fine with that. And so I took his lessons, his yelling and screaming. I didn't want to go through that again. So he said, eat your protein first, your
Hmm.
vegetables second, and if by chance you have any room left, you can have a bite of potato. Well,
Okay.
you don't have a bite of potato because you're full. And
Yeah.
for the first 6 months of my surgery, I used to, if we go to a restaurant, I would pass my salad plate or my bread plate around, and everybody'd give me 2 bites off their plate, and I wouldn't even have to order dinner. So,
There you go.
and that
That's
was all I
smart.
needed,
Yeah.
you
That's
know,
smart.
and we're fat as a society because restaurants give you 4 times the food that you need.
True.
So, I don't know. It's been it's been a lot of changes, but they're not hard to do. It depends on your resolve level. How badly do you really want this?
Yeah.
And, so you can't go partying and drinking with your friends in the same way that you used to. There
Hmm.
are rules. Alcohol, it's not forbidden. Highly recommend that you don't,
Hmm.
especially sweet drinks like margaritas and stuff like that. One gal in
Yeah.
my support group decided that she was home free and she could do what she wanted to do. So she and her husband went to Mexican food. She had a margarita or two, spent the next
Oh,
45 minutes in the bathroom throwing up. So
yeah. Not worth it.
their rules, you know, abide
Yeah.
by them.
So how many years out are you from your surgery?
13 and a half. I had it in April of 2010.
Wow. And how has your diet, like, are you still following that same eating plan pretty much? Protein, vegetables, and whatever room you have left?
Yes, I am. The
Okay.
only thing that I might do differently, and let's be honest, I'm no saint. When I go to Mexican food, I have a beer.
Okay. Yeah.
And my cardiologist said, feel free to have 1 glass of red wine in the afternoon because he wants me to get the resveratrol. And he
Yeah.
said, don't eat grapes. There's too much sugar.
Oh,
He said, I'm fine with you having a glass of red wine. So, and
cool.
I don't
I
do it
like
every
it.
day.
Yeah. That's nice to hear from your doctor. Have a
Yeah.
glass of red wine. Okay. That's wonderful. Now, does the carbonation in the beer affect you negatively?
The only difference is that I can't drink it out of a can or a bottle. I need to put it in a glass and just let it sit for a minute.
Okay.
So, yeah, the bubbles bother me.
Okay.
And they say don't drink carbonated drinks. And
Okay.
of course, beer is carbonated, but if I pour it in a glass over ice, oddly
Yeah.
enough,
And let that
and let
subside.
it sit for a minute, it's fine. And
Okay. Great.
oftentimes I don't even finish the beer, but
Okay. Well, that's
it's fun
cool.
to have with Mexican food.
Um, so I lost your video just now. It says that your internet is having a hard time. So I wonder. Maybe we
Okay,
give
I
it.
see myself, but I don't see you.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, I guess we'll just cross our fingers that when we hit the end record button that it'll all come together. But
Hopefully.
no, yeah, that was a wonderful story. And all of the rules that you mentioned, every rule really is just in the end healthier for you, like keeping alcohol in moderation and not eating so much. And you probably avoided lots of age and being overweight, obesity onset diseases and chronic issues by having this done when you did.
I think so. I really do. Um, I wonder if I can show you the. Will it work? Can I show you the picture?
I would love
My
for you to
my
try just
80th
right now.
picture.
Go
How do I
ahead and
do
put it in
that, I
front of your.
wonder?
Oh, because is it on your phone?
No, I'm holding it up.
Oh, okay, because that's the problem. I can't see you anymore, so that's
Oh,
sad.
okay.
But it doesn't mean that it won't work when we hit end recording. The camera might still be working on your side. So go ahead and hold it up just in case, and maybe once you get your office all settled and your new phone up and running, maybe we'll just have to have a part two of our
Okay,
video.
I'm holding it up right now.
Okay. I wish I could see it. Sorry.
That's
But
okay. This was
um
taken 2 months ago,
oh, nice.
and
Nice.
better late than never that I had the surgery. It's too bad I couldn't have done it in my 30s or 40s instead of my 60s, but hey.
Yeah. No, I'm really, really grateful that you came on to tell people that, because I was just asked the other day about somebody. She told me that her husband's interested in it, but he's like 65 and didn't know if that was too old. And I told her, from what I've heard, that's definitely not too old. It's all about health, and you can get healthier at any age, so why not do it?
Well, Dr. Penning said that I was the oldest person that he had done the surgery for to that date.
Okay.
Um, and he said too that it's all about the health. And he said, you're very healthy and you're active and you passed the weightlifting class with flying colors. So I
Yay.
know that you can do this. So it has to do with
Okay.
personal health and resolve.
Yep, yep. And so if you could have had insurance pay for it a long time ago, you would have done it before 65, 66 years old, but you waited that long because of needing to have insurance cover it, right?
Well, my insurance wouldn't pay for it and I couldn't afford it.
Right, right, exactly. And mine wouldn't
Yeah,
cover it either. Oh, good. I can see your video again. You just came back.
oh, cool. I can't see you.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I cut you off though. What were you saying? Sorry.
Well, I just think, nowadays I think that they're taking the body mass index, they're lowering it to people with anything from the low 30s up. They're allowing them to maybe get the gastric bypass because we as a nation are so fat,
Yeah,
and they're thinking that if they allow the surgery, that they'll have less problems down the road when the people get to be in their 60s and 70s. So,
yeah, for sure.
people should look into it. And I think there's the stigma, and there is a stigma about this that, oh, you took the easy way out. Well, I want you to know, and it's not easy. I mean, you have to make some sacrifices eating wise and so forth, and you're going to lose friends over it.
I lost you. I
So,
don't know if you can hear me, but you kind of went silent right after taking the easy way out. That's what you said last. Um, oh, internet, so fun.
is it going down?
Well, Carolee, I think I'll go ahead and stop this, and we can try again. Because
Okay.
there's definitely more that we could
I can't
talk
see
about.
you.
But since I can't hear you or see you anymore, I better stop it. But don't, if you can hear me, don't get out right away because your side needs to finish uploading. So I'll tell you when. Okay,
Okay.
thanks guys. Sorry for